You are Locked On Celtics Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Boston, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, a win is a win, but come on. After losing the way you did against the Kings on Friday night, the Celtics, yes, Zion Williamson back, and yes, he shows what he's capable of doing. Yes, the Pelicans show what they're capable of doing, but you just held on, survived a scare against a team that entered Sunday night 8-31 on the season. Talk about a team with injuries. That's the Pelicans, but the Celtics do survive in the end and pick up their 28th win on the year. We welcome you to our latest Locked On Celtics postcast. I'm Steve Lennox, longtime college basketball play-by-play announcer. Still to this day, cannot believe that Shaquille O'Neal played 37 games, 36 starts for the Celtics during the 2010-2011 NBA season. You are right where you need to be. You are locked on with our latest Locked On Celtics postcast, providing reaction to every Celtics game on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel. And we are also available wherever you get your podcasts with the Locked On Celtics podcast feed. Again, podcast available wherever you get your podcasts. With our latest Locked On Celtics postcast, we're going to talk about KP, Jayson Tatum. I do have an idea. I don't think Joe Mazzulla is going to take it, but maybe it's time. Maybe it's time. That's coming up in segment number 2. We don't want to hear from you, our everydayers and our first-timers. Join the conversation watching live on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel. Hit the comment button. Join the Celtics conversation. Give me your one random thought on the Celtics' one-point victory against the New Orleans Pelicans. That late turnover, and you're thinking Pelicans are going to run out of the building with this victory. It did not happen. Subscribe to the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel. Also, hit me up with a follow on the X, formerly known as Twitter, at Lennox on Hoops, with questions, comments, or concern. Our latest Locked On Celtics postcast brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create your account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off on your first purchase. So the Celtics do pick up the victory. A sigh of relief, right? A great big sigh of relief as they pick up the win against the Pelicans. The Pelicans came to play. I was excited. I wanted to see Brandon Ingram, but Ingram's missed time for this team. I was excited to see C.J. McCollum. He's been one of my favorite players around the NBA for many years. And Dejounte Murray, he can score against the Boston Celtics. Early on, several offensive rebounds, misses on the three-point line. The Celtics in that first quarter started 1 of 11 on the three-point line. Dejounte Murray hit back-to-back threes, and that put New Orleans up by 11, their largest lead of the game at 26-15 in that first quarter. The Celtics knocked down just 3 threes in the first quarter. The Pelicans knocked down 7. Murray opened up the game 6 of 6 from the field, 5 of 5 on the three-point line before he finally missed. Jayson Tatum, a couple of good signs from Tatum in that first quarter. A, he scored 13 points. B, he made 4 of 4 at the free throw line. I would have rather have seen him go 2 of 4 in the first quarter and then hit 2 clutch late free throws. That didn't happen. But the Celtics, good second quarter. The Celtics were up 1 going into the locker room at the half, 62-61. Now, Murray, 17 in the first quarter, did not score in the second quarter. Zion Williamson came alive at 8 points in that second quarter for the Pelicans. Celtics better from the three-point line in the second quarter, knocking down 3 from long distance. And Tatum had 17 in the first half for the Celtics. KP, Kristaps Porzingis, had 13. I don't always look at plus minus. That's how I talk and introduce plus minus. Tatum and KP were both -9 in the first half. Now, Tatum in a couple of free throws. White had a steal late in the second quarter. Porzingis missed on a 3 going for a 2-for-1. Again, that 2-for-1 situation, you're taking a shot 35, 40 seconds. We've seen it often this year, and Porzingis did it at the end of the second quarter, a long 3. I'd rather see a good shot. I'd rather see something, if it's with 28 seconds left, maybe you have 4 seconds at the end. You still have to take a good shot in those situations. When you're 8, 9 feet behind the three-point line and you just want that 2-for-1, you don't make it, it doesn't look good. Speaking of plus minus, Luke Quarte was a plus 10 in the first half. Quarte was on the receiving end of an alley-oop from Jaylen Brown in the second quarter. Then Brown had a layup. White hit a jumper, his for only field goal in that first half as well. And the Celtics got their first lead on the White jumper. They led 46-45 in that second quarter. And again, up by 1 going into the half. So getting to the third quarter, the Celtics up 1 at the start, up 2 at the end of the third quarter. Tatum hit a 3. Tatum had a dunk. Holiday, great pass ahead of the pack. And on that dunk by Tatum, up by 3 points. But the Celtics were never able to extend the lead. Their largest lead, 5 for the entire game. Every time the Celtics had maybe a little bit of a run, especially in that fourth quarter, Pelicans had an answer, and they just did not back down. Hey, we're going to hit your comments here. If you're with us on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel, join the conversation. PK Tattoos, I got it now, and I'm happy you're back. Thank you so much, PK Tattoos. Can we all just appreciate Tatum, KP, and Horford while we still have them? Brown and White playing horribly, but the other guys stepping up. Pascal, good to see you. Glad you're on board. No way Celtics fans expected that game the way it went, but they needed that win like that. You'd rather see him pull away against a team with 8 wins on the season? I agree with you, though, Pascal. You know what? That is a win where you hold on. But those closing seconds of the fourth quarter, Brown versus Tice, fade away, Celtics up 3. Murphy then knocked down another 3-pointer. Game tied at 80 in the third quarter. Sorry. And then Hauser did have a 3, up 3 points in the third quarter. Getting to the fourth quarter, Pritchard a 3, Celtics up 2 early on in the fourth. Quarte out in front, a dunk, up by 4. The crowd into it at that point in time. They were into it late as well. First NBC Sports Boston reference, Brian Scalabrine saying we have to get stops. We have to find a way to get stops. They really didn't. Game was tied at 100 apiece with 8 to go. Jaylen Brown with a bucket to break that tie. Holiday, a great finish, little pump fake, and the N1 missed the free throw. Celtics were up 4 at that point in time. Fast forward, Tatum fouled Murray on a 3-pointer. Murray, after a timeout, knocked down all 3. Pelicans with a lead. Tatum a dunk, Williamson a miss on a dunk as he attacked the rim. And then Tatum missed on a shot. Williamson had a turnover in that fourth quarter. Porzingis had a 3 that went in and out. Again, he was well beyond the 3-point line. Needed a big stop and got one. Murray missed on a jumper. Tatum, the first to a 50-50 ball, missed on a layup, but no one else around the basketball underneath the rim. He picked it up, dunked it home, 3-point lead, Tatum with 38. Tatum to Brown, hit on a 3. Pelicans missed on a shot. White got a defensive rebound. Foul stopped the clock with 22.1. White hit 2 free throws, 5-point lead. Tatum missed 2 free throws with 13 seconds to go. Yes, that opened the door for the Pelicans. McCollum knocked down a couple of free throws, 1-point game. And the Celtics strategy there, up 3, foul, 2 free throws. Celtics on an inbounds. White called for a 5-second violation in a 1-point game. There's 6-7 seconds, somewhere in there on the clock. McCollum, how many times in C.J. McCollum's career have we seen him hit a game winner? Not just against the Celtics, but just game winners for his team. Thought it was going down. It was on the rim, but missed it. Celtics hold on for the victory. Down 6 after 1, +1 at the half, up 2 going to the fourth, win by 1. And, a win is a win, and you get to that point in the season. Not what the Celtics fans remember. After the game Friday night, Brian Scalabrine saying, look out, Pelicans, and thinking this was something that was going to be a cakewalk. No, they've got too many good players. Got a good coach, too, by the way, in Willie Green. But McCollum, Trey Murphy, he's turning into a real good player. He's I think Drew Carter mentioned it. He's no longer just a 3-and-D guy. He gets after it. And he had a terrific night. Murphy went for 30. Tatum led all scorers with 38, 21 in the second half for Tatum. But Murphy, terrific. 20 of his 30 coming in the second half for the Pelicans. They just didn't go away. And of all things, you thought, okay, double-digit victory against the Pelicans. And I'll have some thoughts on Zion Williamson. You want to share your thoughts on Zion Williamson? I'd love to hear him. Sabonis we talked about the other night with his huge game, almost 30 rebounds in the game. Mike checking in. Mike Driscoll, thanks for getting on board with us. C's broadcast made interesting thoughts I'm not sure if it's intimidating or initiating KP back into the lineup. A reason for the initiating KP back into the lineup. Reason for this inconsistent streak. This is only their 10th game together, I believe. Mike, you're beating me to the punch. That's part of my numbers of the night. This lineup together for the Celtics. I want to trust myself. Guess what? I don't. So I'm going to flash down to my numbers of the night here for just a moment. With this lineup in the game. Nope, got to go up. That's going to be part of my numbers of the night. Holiday, White, KP, JB, JT. The starting five for the Celtics. Not the success in terms of the wins and losses that you would think. And that leads me, as we're going to take a break here in just a moment, but that leads me into one of the things that I've been thinking about. I'm going to throw it out there in segment number 2. Celtics pick up the victory. A win is a win. 30-plus for Tatum, goes for 38. KP at his best. Is he right there right now? Is he as close to 100% as he's going to get? Porzingis, I mentioned the -9 after the first quarter. Porzingis first half, and I'm not just talking the points. Played almost 16 and a half minutes, 4 of 8 from the field in the first half, knocked down 3 threes, and also had a block shot. He went from -9 to +13. Do I have that right? I want to look at that for a second. That's that second quarter. Did I mess that up? I got to apologize. My number was wrong there. Their plus-minus was on the other side. That in the first quarter. So Porzingis, second half. Give you his full line, but then I'll give you his second half. Because overall, almost 34 minutes. 7 of 19, don't like the shooting percentage, okay. 3 of 9 on the three-point line. Again, a 2-for-1 situation at the end of a quarter. Took a 3 that was deep in the fourth quarter as well. Ended up with his third straight double-double, 19 and 11, and 3 block shots. But in the second half for Porzingis, take a look. 3 of 11, 0 of 2 on threes. Did not get to the free throw line, but had 8 rebounds. 8 rebounds total and 5 on the offensive end in the second half. I love that from Porzingis. You got to start him. But I'm going to give you an idea as to what I think maybe should be entertained. I don't think it will be necessarily, but I'm going to give you my thoughts on maybe, just maybe, you tinker with the starting lineup. Maybe you know where I'm going with that. That's next. Glad you're with us on this Sunday night. Locked On Celtics Postcast, Locked On Sports Boston, your team every day. Keep the comments coming. We are presented by Ultimate GM. Let's take a moment to introduce you to a brand new mobile game that'll get you excited right from the get-go. Ultimate College Basketball HC. If you've ever dreamed of being a college basketball head coach, this is your chance to step up and step into those shoes. The Ultimate College Basketball HC, you control every detail of your program, from recruiting players, hiring coaching staff, overseeing training camps, handling NIL deals, and managing scholarship. It's all in your hands. And when it comes to game time, you get to drop offensive plays, set your game strategy as well. The way you play won't just affect the current season, it shapes the future of your school's basketball program as well. It's a game that lets you feel the full weight of what it means to be a head coach and lead your team to glory. Here's a special offer right now for Locked On NBA insiders and listeners. Use code Locked On NBA, Locked On CBB. That's Locked On CBB, all caps, inside the game store to get free boost for your program. It's the perfect way to kickstart your coaching career. Download Ultimate College Basketball HC. Just visit ultimate-cbb.com or look it up in the App Store as well. Ultimate College Basketball HC. Begin your coaching legacy today. Locked On Celtics Postcast, also presented by Game Time. Hey, I love going to live events, whether it's sports, music, theater, or comedy. One of my favorite memories, right at the end of 2024, attending 2 Broadway shows in New York, with my family. The energy, the excitement, it's always unforgettable, right? Now Game Time has made it even easier to get tickets for your favorite events with their new feature, Game Time Picks. This feature is able to filter out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you do not have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. With Game Time Picks, you'll find amazing deals, and you can even see the view from your seat before you make your purchase. The Super Deal is particularly impressive, offering great seats at unbeatable prices. Plus, the app has the all-in pricing, which shows the total cost up front with no surprise fees at checkout. Take the guesswork out of buying your tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create your account, use code LOCKEDONNBA, $20 off your first purchase. Terms to apply. Again, create your account, redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off on your first purchase. Download the Game Time app today. What time is it? You know what time it is. Game time. All right, we're going to get back into your comments here real fast. Segment number 2, tip of the cap. Want to acknowledge our everydayers. Mike, Pascal, always appreciate you guys checking in. We do appreciate you making Locked On Celtics with John Corrales and the Locked On Celtics postcast your first listen every day. So, Zion Williamson, just his 8th game of the season. Played the first 5, missed a couple, played 1, missed 27, played Tuesday against Minnesota, held out on Wednesday, missed the plane on Friday, missed the Sixers game, which turned out to be a win. Brandon Ingram, really did want to see Ingram. And last week, I guess it was, earlier this week, where I thought, okay, maybe you're going to see Zion Williamson Sunday night. Man, I think it's frustrating more than anything as an NBA fan. You want to see this guy in the court. You want to see this guy healthy. You want to see this guy in shape. Drew Carter mentioned he's listed at about 285. He might be playing over 300 pounds right now. But I really did want to see Brandon Ingram. Hey, they're in the capture the flag. Celtics broadcast talked about it. Abby Chin talked about it during the course of the game. This talent with Cooper or with Flag next year, perhaps, that'd be interesting. All right. Numbers of the night, I put it there, but on the break, Celtics, you see some of these teams against the Celtics where they run the break and it's just crisp. The Celtics in the half court when they move the ball well and they make that extra pass to get that, instead of a good shot, a great shot. Usually it's on the 3-point line. Again, in this game, fast break points on the break, they can get after it, rebound and go. And they did that on a couple of occasions. Now, 22-8 fast break points in favor of the Pelicans Sunday night. But the Celtics were better with that category. It was 8-8. It was 20-0. Actually, it was 14-0 in the first half. Celtics were better in the second half in terms of fast break points, getting those easy buckets. Remember, Drew Holiday had the pass out on a rebound, and Holiday's very good at making that pass. But here we go into my comment of, here's an idea. Maybe better for the team. I'm not saying long-term, but maybe for a handful of games here. I'm giving a little dramatic pause right there. I said it in the past. We're approaching the midpoint of the NBA regular season. Joe Mazzulla has had opportunities to get Peyton Pritchard in the starting lineup. I ask you this right now as I bring up Peyton Pritchard, and you might be saying, yes, I'm calling for it. I want him in the starting lineup, or absolutely not. Don't even go down that road. Celtics have not gone down that road at any point this season. Pritchard has come off the bench. Just because he gets in the starting lineup for a handful of games, I don't know what the mark is, but he can start a handful of games and still be eligible and available for that 6th Man of the Year award. But right now I ask you this question. When was the last time you heard Peyton Pritchard 6th Man of the Year? It's been a couple of weeks. It might be since Christmas and losing at home to the 76ers. His production has fallen off. Does getting him in the starting lineup get him going earlier in the game? I thought it early in the day on Sunday when I was on a drive down to catch a basketball game, college game at Iona in New Rochelle, New York. Quinnipiac won that game, by the way, by 1 point, just like the Celtics did against the Pelicans. But is it time to put Peyton Pritchard in the game? Not for the remainder of the regular season, but maybe for the next handful of games. Maybe it gets him going a little bit earlier. Now, Pritchard, overall numbers, almost 24 minutes, 3 threes, 4 of 10 overall. Had 4 assists. Ended up with 11 points. Same number on the front and back of the jersey. But is it time for a handful of games? To get Pritchard maybe going. It's been a while since he's only had one 20-point game in recent games for the Celtics. And teams are defending differently against him right now. Now, who would you put on the bench and have come off the bench? I'm wondering if it's Jrue Holiday. That makes sense over Derrick White, because then you're real small if it's Holiday and Pritchard for a time. I don't want it because of an injury, but I'm just wondering right now, maybe it gets Pritchard going. Now, a 1-point win, as expected, a victory, but not a 1-point win against the New Orleans Pelicans. Maybe there's some tinkering here. Get back to the comments. Mike, one more. Once KP gets back in full basketball shape, I believe they'll be fine. I agree, and I think he's as close as he's been. 9-1 this season when all their starters are healthy. I got that one coming up here in numbers of the night in terms of having the starting lineup that they had against Sunday night against the Pelicans, what the record is overall. Smiley Jogger, appreciate you checking in. That is the thinnest I've ever seen Zion. On TNT, they said it looked like Zion was looking like the child of Shaq and Charles Barkley. In the warm-ups, they're baggy, they're big, they're bulky. He looked good. I watched him a handful of times down the court, just in sequences. And I'll do that from time to time with an individual player. He's always moved well at his size. Just got to stay healthy. A hamstring injury, you missed 27 games. I think Scalabrine Thursday on his NBA morning show with Frank Isola on SiriusXM, he sort of said, how are you out for this long with these types of injuries? Shouldn't be that long. So, again, there's a maturity level. You missed a flight on Friday. Something you shouldn't be doing at this point in your NBA career. I mean, there are so many caution flags with Zion Williamson. And again, we all want to see him play. He's certainly capable. But in the next 2 weeks, would you be surprised if he's going to miss in another extended period of time? PK Tattoos checking in one more time. To expand on the KP point, since he's been playing so well, the focus might need to be on the other players' approach with using him. They are the issue that needs some tweaking. It's going to be interesting. He's not going to be your number one option when Brown and or Tatum are on the court. And it's not like they isolate him and, keep the ball away from him. Ball goes through him a lot. I'd like to see his overall field goal percentage would be better if he didn't take as many threes as he did. Because 3 of 9, that's going to drop your overall field goal percentage. He's not a low block type of guy. They can do it on occasion. And the Pelicans weren't very big. They don't put Horford inside that often. On occasion, but usually it's on the elbow or on the three-point line. So I don't think this is true, but it's almost, he's not going to be your number one option. But he's going to get his points, he's going to get his looks, he's going to get his touches. He can go grab an offensive rebound and a putback. Again, on the offensive boards in the second half, he was right there. So I think he's very close. But he's not going to be a 30 and 15 guy for you. His numbers right now, again, active on the defensive end, the shot blocker, the rim protector. That's where I think when he's at his peak, and if he can keep it there for a while, I think that's where you get more from Porzingis, is his ability to move around in that paint area. Guy penetrates, beats his defender off the dribble. He's there to back up, and he can sort of fly out at a shooter every once in a while. He's gotten more and more active. You can see it from game to game. Right now, there's a stretch where, hey, just keep doing the things you're doing. Paul checking in. White with some dumb plays. Yeah, not typical of Derrick White, right? That 5-second violation, tried to get the timeout, a half a second in between or whatever it turned out to be. Paul also checking in with the Sixers The Pelicans did beat the Sixers. Yeah, the 3 wins recently against Philadelphia and 2 against Washington. This team still has a ways to go, but they put forth a strong effort against the Celtics on Sunday night. Again, Celtics largest lead 5, never able to extend that lead at any point past 5 points in that fourth quarter. Smiley Jogger is going to offer an opinion on my Peyton Pritchard to the starting lineup. This is the first time, by the way. Our everydayers know it. First timers, this is the first time where I'm actually saying, again, not for the rest of the season, but maybe just for a handful of games. A, for the team, and B, for Pritchard as well. Do you put him in the starting lineup? Smiley Jogger doesn't want it. And that's all right. No from me on Peyton as a starter. I like his spark from the bench, but the spark's not there the way it was first 20-plus games of the season. More from Smiley Jogger. Do you think he would be as good against the opposition's first unit? And that I take that into consideration. But again, if you took Doc Rivers got burned by Peyton Pritchard. The next game against the Bucks, Pritchard did not score. Didn't score. So Peyton Pritchard, I'll give you some of his numbers of the night coming up in our numbers of the night segment in segment number 3. All right, Smiley Jogger, we've got you for no Pritchard. Again, I've got to be sold on it more, but I'm throwing it out there. Again, biggest point for me to emphasize here is I'm not looking for it for an extended period of time. And I know if you put him in that starting role, he gives you the effort on the defensive end, but yes, he can be taken advantage of. So with that starting unit, but the defenders that are coming off the bench when he's out there with the opposing team's bench players, they're getting after him. They're not giving him the open looks that he got. And he moves without the basketball. A lot of shooters have to do that. Is he Reggie Miller? No, but he moves without the basketball. Sean, they played most of the game. They played okay most of the game. It definitely got a little ugly at the end of the game. Yeah, it got real ugly because there was a potential game winner. 5-second violation on an inbounds. That's a no-no. And, McCollum a couple of years ago, a little more tread on the tires. He's hit those shots before. He's hit plenty of game winners. PK Tattoos, one more. Start Pritchard against smaller teams and take out White. White has been pretty awful lately. Yeah, his numbers for shooting-wise have been down a little bit. Needs something to get him going. I don't know if you can go Holiday Pritchard in the backcourt. Holiday gets after it defensively. But size-wise, I wonder if that's a thing. Outstanding job with the comments on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel. Numbers of the night next, and we also look ahead. Locked On Celtics postcast. Again, Locked On Sports Boston, your team every day. We are presented by Open Phone. New sponsor to the Locked On Celtics postcast. Running a small business does mean you're wearing a lot of different hats. Your personal phone becomes your business phone, and before you know it, you're juggling customer calls day and night. As your team grows, it becomes impossible to manage everything with just your personal number. That's where Open Phone is able to come in and help you out. It's the #1 business phone system designed to help you keep your work and your personal life separate. Sounds like something my wife needs on occasion. $15 a month for just $15 a month. The cost of a few coffees. You get complete transparency and visibility into everything happening with your business phone number. Open Phone works through the app on your phone or computer and integrates with tools like HubSpot and hundreds of others. It also uses AI-powered call transcripts and summaries, so you'll have a rundown of your phone calls and action items the second you hang up. And if you miss a call, no problem. Automated messages are sent directly to your customer, ensuring you never miss an opportunity to engage. Right now, Open Phone is offering 20% off your first 6 months when you go to openphone.com/LockedOnNBA. That's openphone.com/LockedOnNBA, and you'll receive 20% off your first 6 months. Again, openphone.com/LockedOnNBA. And if you have existing numbers with another service, Open Phone will port them over at no extra charge. Again, that's openphone.com/LockedOnNBA for 20% off your first 6 months. Numbers of the night. Want to get to my first. So I got to scroll up on my notes pages here, and let's get to it. Drew Holiday, Derrick White, Kristaps Porzingis, Jaylen Brown, Jayson Tatum. Starting lineup for the Celtics. 9 games for this starting unit that you saw Sunday night. With those 5, Holiday, White, Porzingis, Brown, Tatum on the court together at the start of the game, just the 9th time this season for the Celtics. Now above 500, 5-4 with that starting unit. And remember, it was Al Horford in the starting lineup for KP for the first, 12 games of the NBA regular season before Kristaps Porzingis. It was Quarte for a game, Quarte for a couple of games. I think those were on the back-to-backs, and Quarte got a start as well. Porzingis did not get into game number 18. That was the first time where you had that lineup. Let me make sure that I have that right. Holiday, White, Porzingis, Brown, Tatum. Yeah. And they only had that lineup when Porzingis returned for game number 18 for 2 in a row before Derrick White missed a game, and Jaylen Brown missed a couple of games during that stretch as well. So 5-4 with that starting unit. That's not great. It really isn't with those 5. That's not great. And I had it right there too. Darn it. Tatum. 17th time this year for Jayson Tatum. 21 of his 38 in the second half. Celtics now 12-5 when he goes for 30 or more. Celtics, how about this one for you? The Celtics' 4th straight game where the opposing team has hit more threes. That's a season high. It's the 4th straight game where the opposing team has knocked down more threes than the Celtics. Pelicans knocked down 17, Celtics 13. Celtics were 30% on the three-point line. Pelicans also had a 17-4 advantage, points off of turnovers, but the Celtics had 23 second chance points. That was big. 21-14. Sounds like a football score. 21 lead changes and 14 ties. And again, the Celtics did not have a lead bigger than 5 in the game, and a 1-point victory against the New Orleans Pelicans with just 8 wins on the season. They are now 8-32, worst record in the West. Better than their 8-32 record, yes, but with the injuries, no one's going to make excuses. No one is going to feel sorry right now for the Pelicans. If they can get a top 3 pick and keep most of these guys together, I like some of the players they have individually. You kind of go from there. Pritchard, on the night, I gave you his line earlier. I want to give it one more time. Pritchard for the night, coming off the bench, 4 for 10, 3 of 8 on threes. And I have one more point I want to make. Had 11 points. Pritchard, previous 3 games, 2 for 15 on threes. Had 20 against the Rockets in an impressive win on that last road trip against Houston. Had no points against OKC. Pritchard, prior to Sunday night, was single digits in 4 of his previous 5 games, and averaging still below his average, 11 on Sunday, averaging almost 15 points per game off the bench. Just throwing it out there. Not going to pat myself on the back if somehow, some way, Peyton Pritchard is inserted into the starting lineup in the coming games for the Celtics. I have a hunch it could happen, but then again, that's just me thinking out loud. Off to Toronto, couple of days off, Raptors on Wednesday. So Raptors taking the Celtics to overtime in 1 game, and then the Raptors on New Year's Eve day, December 31, last day of 2024, Celtics by 54 in that game. So the Celtics off to Toronto. Remember, they had the game added against the Raptors, so they'll play Toronto 4 times. They'll have one more game, I believe, in February at Toronto. But right now, 2-0 against the Raptors, who be interesting to see them play on Wednesday. Be interesting to see the Celtics play the Raptors in Toronto as well. Then it's back at home. Doesn't get any easier. Back-to-back, Friday, Saturday next weekend at TD Garden. Friday, Saturday against Orlando and Atlanta. That matchup against the Magic will be the midpoint of the regular season. Celtics do pick up the victory. A 1-point win, their first 1-point win of the season, 28-11 on the year. And, hey, good to win at home after a tough home loss against the Kings, where you were tied going to the fourth quarter on Friday night. So we'll be back with you on Wednesday. Within minutes of the final buzzer, Celtics, Raptors in Toronto with our latest Locked On Celtics postcast. Let's get to one more here. We actually have a couple more. And, I'm going to get in trouble from the folks at Locked On. Sean, they definitely have been struggling. 28-11. Yeah, they're still 28-11. They're still the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. Mike, one more. Great point for Sean. Seas are third in the league and only behind 2 teams that are having their best seasons. Maybe part of the problem where I just want perfection. Yeah, that's not Celtic fans, Mike. That's Boston fans, right? It's never good enough. Perfection. Smiley Jogger, appreciate you too, bud. Sean, I want to get to that before, Mike referenced Sean's comment. They're definitely struggling lately, but again, okay, there you go, 28-11. I did read that one. Hopefully the shooting comes around. It's going to. All right? They've had a couple of stretches this year, 20 or more threes. That's coming. It's coming soon. It's just not right now. But you do pick up the victory still. You earn the win, and you go from there. Hey, again, Wednesday, we'll be on within minutes of the final buzzer. Celtics, Raptors in Toronto with our latest Locked On Celtics postcast. Tip of the cap to you. Always appreciate the back and forth. Could not do it without you. Love the support. Hopefully you continue it. Hopefully this is the place where you come after every Celtics game with our latest Locked On Celtics postcast. Locked On Sports Boston, number 1 place to hang out immediately after every game. Locked On Sports, your team, your Celtics, every day.